Hello, good morning. My name's Justine. I'm an older people and dementia assistant within the Trust. I've got quite a few slides, so I might need to sort of crack on with those if that's okay. So could I have the next slide? Brilliant, lovely. So the Forget Me Not scheme is an initiative that we implemented in the Trust that actually is a simple way of identifying patients living with dementia that come into the hospitals. Could I have the next slide, please? So why did we decide to do this? Well, actually, one of the reasons was that it supports sort of national recommendations, and certainly from the National Audit of Dementia in 2015, did suggest that hospitals do need a way of identifying vulnerable people living with dementia that are coming into our hospitals. And just as importantly, we had a lot of feedback from families and carers and friends saying that they wanted staff to know that their relative was living with dementia. It was very important to them, and that they were identified as having a dementia. How we did it, so we did an awful lot of engagement with outside partners, family, carers and friends, and it was amazing actually all the work that went on. But basically we had 5 ideas that we wanted to take forward, and these were those. So we had a forget-me-not flower that was going to be placed behind the bed space. It was nice and visible for people to see. A forget-me-not flower magnet on patient ward boards, so the multidisciplinary team could see, and anybody visiting the ward actually could see that too. Blue wristbands for every patient with a known diagnosis of dementia. Forget-me-not stickers for the front of the patient's medical note, so anywhere the patient went there would be an identifiable sticker, or the forget-me-not would be there as an indicator. And alert added onto patient centre, so anytime that person living with dementia was admitted to the hospital, it would flag us up. It would flag up straight away. And after a lot of sort of trialling, we did some PDSA cycles. The 3 chosen methods were the alert on nerve centre, the forget-me-not being placed on the front of the medical notes, and the forget-me-not being placed at the back of the patient's bed. And that worked really well for people, for people who were visitors to the ward. So, for example, volunteers, porters that didn't have access to the other 2 identifiers. Thank you. And now the Forget-me-not scheme has actually been implemented Trustwide, and it's our logo for people living with dementia that are admitted to the Trust. And great initiatives have actually come on the back of the Forget-me-not scheme. I don't know, I'm sure some of you will recognise a couple of these. One is Stay With Me, which is a wonderful initiative from John's campaign. Another one is the Know Me Better patient summary that we use to provide personalised patient-centred care. And we also have a great meaningful activities service as well that also promote the Forget-me-not scheme to deliver person-centred care for those people living with dementia that are admitted to the hospital. And sorry, next slide, please. We do have recommendations that it's only for people with a known diagnosis of dementia, and patients don't have to be adopted onto the Forget-me-not scheme. There is an option to opt out, and we will always discuss with family carers and friends at the earliest opportunity about their loved ones being on the scheme and what it means and what it's about. Next slide, please. And it's been so successful that recently we've rolled it out into the outpatients departments, and initially into 3 areas, so ophthalmology, fracture clinic and dermatology clinic. And again, we work really closely with teams because we understand that every clinic has their different processes in place. But the teams really worked with it and now have adopted it through many more outpatients departments in the Trust. Next slide, please. And their way of identifying people with dementia are one, they have the Forget-me-not on cases of notes when they come when they're prepped for clinic, and they also have access to the patient centre. So what happens is every time a clinic is set up, the staff on that clinic will know what sort of patients they're going to see that morning or that afternoon that are coming into clinic with unknown diagnosis, so they can put things in place to support that patient and their carers that are coming in. We've tried to maintain momentum and try to sort of make sure this is being embedded. So we've provided some patient-facing posters for staff and of course patients. Each clinic area has designed their own poster, and as you can see on this one, they've sort of used things that are really important that they can use in their clinic to support people in the dementia that are coming in. But again, it's all about maintaining momentum and keeping things embedded to make sure this really simple initiative continues to be successful. And here's some of the lovely work that's been done, certainly on the outpatients departments. They've created a reminiscence corner or a quiet corner where patients can go with their family or friends, carers, and sit out the way of the busy hustle and bustle of the clinic environment, because obviously we know that providing the environment is really important to make sure the patients don't become agitated and distressed. So this is what they've done. They've got music, they've got books, and they also provide drinks and snacks in that area as well. And in fact, one of the patients wrote a poem about the area as well. So that was really nice, and that's on display in this area for everybody to see. And the Forget Me Not scheme is growing, and we now have this about 5,000 patients on the scheme, and this is a good way of sort of making sure that what we're doing is the right thing, because we're actually adopting more and more patients on the scheme all the time. And we've also sort of looked at what family carers and friends are saying and recommending. As you can see, certainly on the 2 clinics that we've recently implemented it on, the feedback is really good, and the percentage of recommend is going up. The ophthalmology clinic that was the clinic that was used to trial or has now got it in place actually gets 100% all the time, so we didn't want to include that, but these 2 clinics actually, as you can see, are actually using it well, and the feedback is very positive. And just some results really from the scheme. The multidisciplinary team found the crowd behind the bed was really helpful, and it sort of just prompted how they were communicating with patients who were living with dementia. Feedback from family has been overwhelmingly positive, and they do feel it's a real positive initiative as a way of identifying that their loved one has the diagnosis. And staff feel more confident to care as well. And as you can see, again, this is more feedback from that we've gathered. This is actually from outpatients. So generally, we feel the scheme is working. We feel that actually it's making a difference in providing safe, person-centred care for those people that are admitted or coming to visit the hospitals in the university hospitals of Leicester. We feel that it's really working and it's being embedded, and we're really pleased to see that the feedback, as I say, is really positive, and is making a difference to the outcomes for people in the dementia, their family and carers. And that's the end. Thank you.